I have had so many injuries and been so disappointed with doctors and physical therapists for having just cookie cutter solutions that did not help me to be able to do what I needed to do with my body as a circus artist, as a dancer, as a movement artist, as an aerialist. Doctors and physical therapists had no context for that. They didn't understand. They also didn't understand my relationship to my physical body. They weren't curious about that. Hi, my name is Alina and welcome to Permeates Yoga. Today I want to talk to you about how to heal physical injuries and synthesize everything I've learned over the course of my life, healing many injuries myself, and also as a professional yoga teacher, helping others to heal injuries that they are experiencing. From a yogic perspective, of course, you'll find different people with different opinions about how to heal most optimally depending on the field that they are in. So for yoga and for me, what I've learned, the first thing to note is that you are so much more than your body. In yoga, we understand that who we are is sort of broken into layers. We talk about the 5 koshas, the physical layer, the energy layer, the emotional layer, the mental layer, and then the transcendent layer of who you are. So whenever anything happens to you, when there is a rupture or something in the physical body, nothing happens to you in just one layer. Everything that happens to you is happening in all 5 of these layers. And the chakra system is a powerful system to sort of symbolically interpret where some of the origins could be that these physical ruptures are coming from. And of course, sometimes a physical injury can be just a purely physical origin, but sometimes, especially for more chronic issues that are less acute and accidental in their origin, we can look into some of the symbols for that region of the body. For instance, the hip region is related to Sarisvana chakra, which is also related to creativity, children, reproduction, sexuality, sensuality, things like that. Issues with the shoulders and neck are related to Vishuddha, which is the throat chakra, which is related to things like communication and also your ability to kind of make things, self-expression, your ability to speak your truth. And issues like migraines can be related to the Ajna chakra. Sorry, my pronunciation is not the best for that. Which is related to the mind, the thoughts, the mental visualization layer of yourself, also kind of self-concept and the ego in general. Then we can also look at the left or right side. If you're having pain, particularly on the left side of your body, this is connected to the right side of your brain, which is more archetypally feminine, which sometimes can relate to the mother or more intuitive kind of layers of us. And then the right side of our body, issues on the right side are connected to the left brain, which is more archetypally masculine, analytical, detail-oriented, the father, things like that. So depending on the exact location of your injury, there can be these other origins that can be relating on a psychological level, a mental level to what you're experiencing and how it is that your body has come to be in its current condition. So nothing is just one thing. Your symptoms are sacred, and it's worthwhile to investigate the relationship to your body and yourself such that this has happened to you. Not to say that you're necessarily responsible for everything. Of course, there can be sort of freak accidents or things like that. But even in these cases, sometimes there's still meaning that we can make and look into to get into these more subtle layers of where health problems are coming from. Secondly, we can amplify our healing abilities. There is empirical evidence to support that when you focus your attention into a region of the body, you promote blood flow to that region. Blood flow is also what is ultimately healing you. Doctors don't heal you, surgeries don't heal you, your body is healing itself. We can create conditions for that healing process to go more smoothly or to kind of structure things in a way that they'll heal in a way that will hopefully promote longevity for you and your body and your life. And we can also work against the body's ability to heal. So your focused attention and connecting mentally, psychologically, visually, internal visualizations to that region of the body can actually promote healing there, especially if you do this consistently, which is why I do these yoga nidra practices. And also, if you're able to grow your awareness of this area, that will be extremely beneficial to your healing. So oftentimes when we are experiencing an injury somewhere, it's a region of the body that we're not very connected to. For instance, you might hurt your shoulder and not really understand how your shoulder works at all. You might not have a lot of consciousness there, which is typical, but through your ability to grow your consciousness of that region, internally, it's not so important that you know the names of all the muscles and ligaments and joints and things. It's more important from a healing perspective that you're able to connect in this felt sense and this internal visualization of the joint space, to be able to bring your awareness to a specific part of the joint with as much detail and focus as you can. That is growing the mind-body connection and amplifying your ability to send energy and therefore promote blood flow to this region. And you can do this mentally without physical engagement, and you can also do this physically using muscle engagement. So doing certain exercises, playing around with your range of motion in different regions to figure out where is it exactly that I need to move to get that particular spot that's bothering me. So figuring out through physical muscle engagement can be really helpful in order to just then bring our mental energy to that spot as well. But they're not necessarily separate. These things happen together, although you can also do sort of one without the other. And thirdly, related to these first two things, your body is not just some flesh sack that supports your life force. Your body is the culmination of everything that has ever happened to you, everything you've ever eaten, everything you've ever done, every experience you've ever had, every emotional imprint someone has left on you, your entire lineage, genetically, your family, your parents. We are the culmination of all of that, and all of that is also latent in our physical body. So to treat only the physical symptoms is not addressing the totality of the healing process and the totality of what your body is. And it's also not like neutral or separate from you. Your relationship to your body will be very much connected to your healing process. And often when we're experiencing injuries, this is related to probably challenges in our own relationship to the physical body, which can sometimes manifest in our relationship to food or exercise or the lack thereof for these things, the way that we decide what is important or not important to take care of within the realm of our physical body. And this can also relate to aesthetics as well sometimes, like the way that you treat your body, how you feel about the way you look, the care that you take to present a certain way, your self-concept. All of these things will have an impact on your physical health, the way that you relate to yourself, the care that you take for yourself, the importance that you find your physical body to have or not. And so to address just a ligament rupture with a surgery might do nothing to promote the totality of healing that caused your over-exercising, under-eating addiction to alcohol that is the reason why that happened in the first place, and will not set you up for what is truly healthful in the long term, just as an example. And so the work of healing is discerning from the inside, through introspection, through proprioception, what is it that my body needs? What do I need? And this is something that we are in the West accultured to believe that doctors can tell us, this is what you need. And to a certain extent they can, for especially the most basic things, like we could say for everyone universally that having too much sugar, not sleeping enough, drinking too much alcohol, these things are going to be bad for anyone. But to actually really amplify and optimize your healing ability, we need to go so much deeper than kind of the surface level cookie cutter prescriptions that doctors and physical therapists will give us. To really tune into your own healing ability and amplify it and accelerate your healing process and heal in a way that will promote longevity for the long haul, you need to be able to feel inside of yourself, where is this issue happening? And as a doctor, physical therapist, yoga teacher, I can guide you into different pathways of movement to explore, or even mentally through yoga nidra, feeling into different regions of the body. But ultimately, what is healing is your ability to be present with that space, curious about it, and compassionate towards it. And this is all you. Only you can heal yourself. No one can heal you. And ultimately, it is your own responsibility to heal yourself. I wish that it were the case that other people were responsible for us and that others would heal us and the medical system should have everyone be healthy and responsible for our health universally. But the reality of the situation is that we are responsible for ourselves. And to a certain extent, we can rely on the support of others. But your healing is happening inside of you. It's not happening outside of you, and no one can give it to you. And it is your connection to yourself that will promote and amplify your healing ability and accelerate this journey and give you healing that will last. It is your ability to connect with yourself physically, emotionally, mentally, and get curious about what you need and compassionate in the way that you respond by giving yourself the things that you do need. So for physical injuries, what this can look like is, I need to explore my range of motion here. Where is it that this is happening? And how can I be with that more and find out what I need here? So it is both the quality and quantity of the energy that you bring to this part of you that has been injured that will determine how quickly and effectively and how long-lasting your healing process will be. And this is not to say that this is easy or that it's something that will be the same for everyone. Like, there could be something wrong with you that is extremely obscure and difficult to figure out, and maybe no one has any context for, and hardly anyone has ever experienced this. It's very possible that your healing journey could be more difficult than it is for other people. And unfortunately, that doesn't change the situation that you are responsible for bringing enough curiosity, presence, intention, compassion to that to figure it out, because no one will figure it out for you. And I really wish that doctors could help more. I wish that there was more that we knew. And maybe through your own healing journey, you'll be able to then share with others, this is what happened to me, and now I can share it with you, which is what I'm doing right now. I have had so many injuries and been so disappointed with doctors and physical therapists for having just cookie cutter solutions that did not help me to be able to do what I needed to do with my body as a circus artist, as a dancer, as a movement artist, as an aerialist. Doctors and physical therapists had no context for that. They didn't understand. They also didn't understand my relationship to my physical body. They weren't curious about that. I've also had disordered eating and just really challenging relationships to my body image and food. And so that was definitely connected to the injuries that I was repeatedly experiencing. But doctors aren't going to ask you about your relationship to your body, because they're just there as essentially mechanics of the flesh to just give you the 10 exercises that everybody needs to do when they tear their ACL. And that did not do the trick for me. I had to really get my butt sat down by the universe in a way that I could not move in very extreme ways before I had to actually enter into this introspection enough to figure out what I need, my relationship to my body, and how to heal it. And maybe you do too. So to bring it down to earth a little bit more, when you have a physical injury, if you were to get a private yoga session with me, or what I would tell you to do on your own for free right here, right now, and how to heal these injuries, the first thing we need to do is explore the range of motion. We need to figure out exactly where it is that the limitation is. And we would not want to go more than 30% pain into that region. For instance, if it hurts you to lift your arm here, then you don't want to go more than 30% of pain there. So just finding out exactly where that is, and is it, internal or external rotation? Where exactly is that happening? When we will move slowly with presence to figure out exactly the origin and to feel mentally into that joint space. So we would practice then expanding our range of motion statically and dynamically. We would increase and promote blood flow through strengthening the mobility there actively, using your muscles to pull yourself into greater range of motion, and then using gravity or other props to lengthen and strengthen that region of the body. We would do some deep tissue massage in the supporting areas using like a lacrosse ball or some other kind of massage tool that you can do on your own. This can also pinpoint, sometimes muscles can get very tight around the region of the injury, and it can be imbalances in tension that sometimes are even responsible to some degree for the injuries that happen. So sometimes an injury is because you need to learn how to strengthen a certain region of the body. There's a lack of strength. And sometimes an injury can be related to an overabundance of tension, holding muscles tightly all the time and not knowing how to release. So sometimes the practice is learning how to let go of, release, soften, lengthen certain things. And sometimes it's more a process of strengthening and bolstering certain things. And usually a combination of these two. So for instance, if you are someone who does a lot of climbing, you're always pulling, then you might have shoulder injuries from maybe overuse or something like that. And so we would want to probably learn how to both lengthen and strengthen the opposite muscles. So if you're always pulling, then your lats are very strong, and you'll need to work on pushing and how to extend the lats using your muscles, and then also with the help of like maybe a wall or something, and strengthening and lengthening. So figuring out what the source of the injury is and strengthening and lengthening kind of the opposite muscle group would be what we would look at doing, in addition to using lacrosse balls, massage tools to really pinpoint the exact area of tension. And that massage tool is going to show you, okay, this exact spot, this is where you need to release, this is where you need to soften, and practicing letting go of that area. Because sometimes we don't even know where the muscles are inside of us that are tight. And if you don't have the mind-body connection, if you don't have the mental-physical connection happening, then you won't be able to heal in a sustained way. You need to have an understanding internally of what's happening and know how to engage the muscles and also disengage the muscles, and then practice that continuously. And we would want to work this both statically in things that are kind of still, and also dynamically moving through movements. And if there were specific practices that you do, if you are an athlete, a movement artist, if there's certain things you do for work that require your body to do certain motions repetitively, then we would want to look at that and how to bolster and strengthen muscle groups related to those specific movement habits that you have, movement patterns that you are repetitively finding yourself in, and how to make sure we're working the opposite things. So if you need to keep moving a certain way, we have the opposite muscle groups also strong and long in order to support that, so you don't get thrown out of balance. So we can move and practice moving very slowly with intention to find that exact spot. And then also through things like yoga nidra, after a private yoga lesson, I would guide someone through a body scan specifically around the region that we were working with to try to strengthen the mind-body connection, because we need to be able to know how to use the muscles actively and turn them on, but also we need to have the mind-body connection in a relaxed state to just move our awareness to regions with much detail, and even visualizing and practice visualizing both that region of the body and also visualizing yourself moving using that region of the body are extremely powerful tools. So if you were to want to work with me to promote healing in your body, this is the sort of process that I would walk you through, asking you questions about where your limitations are, what kind of movements are you doing, what's your relationship to your body like, what are your habits, practices physically, what are you doing, and what are your goals, where are you going? And then we would try to strengthen the mind-body connection, working strength and length in the specific regions that are relevant to you, and building proprioception there. And ultimately, hopefully, with your understanding that it is your own ability to care for yourself and be curious about yourself and committed to yourself that is the fundamental foundational equation to how and when you will heal. So if you're curious to talk to me about how that might look for you specifically, you can book a free consultation call with me on my website, which I will link below. You could also try some yoga nidra practices with me. For instance, if you have knee pain or jaw pain or shoulder pain, I have specific meditations to promote healing with different regions of the body that I will also link here. I also have some practices on my website. For instance, I have a shoulder hatha class that you can do for like $6 on my website, which is an hour-long practice that really gets into the shoulder joint, and I have others for the hips and back and things like that. So if you would like to try a very cheap practice with me on my website, that's an option. If you would like to try a free practice with me on YouTube, that's available. If you would like to try a free yoga nidra meditation, those are here. You can also download them so you can play them without ads if you don't have YouTube Premium, or just play them on the go without Wi-Fi if you want to download them on my website. And also, if you want one-on-one attention, really needing that support and guidance to come up with a plan that is personalized to you and unique to the specific things that you're going through and ways that you need to move your body, then I would be happy to talk to you about any of that. So let me know if you have any questions. Oh, I also did make this, and I am a jeweler, so still not really sure this is a design that I'm working on. So if you have any thoughts about this, let me know in the comments what you think. And I have jewelry for sale on my website as well, as I am an artist and astrologer and yoga teacher. So would love to hear what you think about this, and wishing you all the best on your healing journey, friends. Thank you.